So this is the office. That's the monitor, just arrived today. By the time this video goes out, that will be yesterday, because I'm not doing it tonight. It's the Dell U4025QW. It's a very, very good monitor. I'm very happy to have got it. But this is the current setup and how things normally look. As you can see, it's about as good as it gets. Hi folks. So this is my office setup. The MacBook has to be open because the mouse setup and the keyboard setup goes between the PC and the Mac. But with the new monitor and its Thunderbolt connection, we'll be able to have the bigger screen up there and PC on one side and Mac on the other side, and then the Mac will be able to be closed. Around the office we've got Harry's first picture that he did when he first went to nursery. I'm now a Westie man, so I get Westie pictures bought for me. I bought some books recently. Thomas Pakenham, Meetings with Remarkable Trees, and the Remarkable Baobab. Inspired by Nigel, I watched some old videos of Nigel, and Nigel had the Remarkable Tree books, and I managed to find those on Amazon for a very good price. But yeah, this is my normal setup, and what I normally have to look at most evenings when I'm having a good chat with my brother Ryan.
All right, folks. Folks.
So we're gonna set up the new monitor tomorrow, and then unfortunately it'll be even bigger in my office, but I suppose there's worse things. Ta-da for now, Ryan.
Ta-da, folks. Catch you in a bit.
So one thing I failed to show you last night was, in this room it's always July 2023. I have this calendar up which was sent across last year, and Nigel's Sarissa is on permanent display. So there's the Dell monitor, the U4025QW. We're going to unbox it, see what cables we've got, because I think we're going to need to probably go and get a Thunderbolt cable if I haven't got one in my stash, and we're also going to need a USB-A to USB-A 3.2 for the upstream, because the monitor is a hub, so the remote keyboard and mouse, at the moment I'm using the Logitech versions. They go in between the Mac and the PC, and with the hub monitor controlling them, it will be, as you move the mouse across, it will take precedence over which is which, because the monitor doesn't do that itself, but the Logitech, with the Logitech Flow software, reinforces what the monitor offers, where you can go right to left. I know from watching Dave's Garage review, the one thing that he wanted it to do, as you go from monitor to monitor, as you hit the edge, he said it would have been nice for it to switch over to the active PC as you click across, but that doesn't do that. But the Logitech software for the keyboard and mouse will, so that's a bonus. So let's start getting this open. I'll set up somewhere and we'll lift the box open. Oh, that's the number plates for the new vehicle that's coming next week. I'll show you that when it comes. So here we are, getting ready to open up. We've got two taped edges here that we'll just quickly open, and then we will lay the box down and open it up. My word. So there's quite a bit to it. They seem to have provided cables. That's got a 4 on it, depicting that it's a Thunderbolt 4 lead. They're chucking in HDMI leads. They've put in a USB-C to USB-A 3.2 and a DP DisplayPort lead. So from some reviews that I watched previously, some of the comments were how the monitors were that expensive yet didn't come with certain leads, etc. So it looks like they've taken note of that and placed in some decent leads, which is good. There's a bit of an idea of connectivity, etc. Now there's one thing I do know from watching the reviews and looking at the Dell website. It says to not lift the monitor out of the box until you've connected the stand. So these are all numbered. Number 1, up and out, we get the bottom of the stand. Very substantial. It's keyed, so you can only put the upright in one way, and then that's got a screw on the back. So we'll just put that to one side. So that's number 1. We've got warranty and service information. We've got number 2 over here, which is the upright, and that's the keyed end to go into the base. You've got some cable point entries in and out, which is nice because that will help hide the cables around the back. And then you've got the monitor clipping into position. That should go in without, it should be kind of keyless, I think, so that'll be interesting. We'll get that. So that's number 2. We've got the power lead there, which we'll just lift out of the way. So that lifts out this substantial packaging. We'll just put that under our Flexi Spot desk for now. And then no real numbers, although it does say a number 2 down there. So first of all, put the base and the arm together. Don't lift the monitor by its sides because you could damage the screen. And number 2, it just says click the arm into the base and then you can lift. It does say 2 people to lift this, but I think I'm probably strong enough to lift this on my own. If I find that I'm not strong enough, I'll go for some assistance. So we'll connect the base to the upright arm. That comes to a dead stop, so that's its fixed position. And then I think we can maybe lift some of this out, can we? Or so drop the front of the box, and then I think we can start freeing up the back of the screen. Now what we might do is we might just, yeah, it's already cut there, so before we take the wrapping off, we're going to utilise this space to clip in. That is a brilliant idea. That's clipped in. Now we can lift it with the screen fully protected. I do like that. and we can take the cardboard off afterwards. That's absolutely fantastic. Obviously, with the monitor being worth as much as it's worth, the last thing you want is to have major damage. So lifting the monitor up and out, we can stand it in the base, and it comes with these serrated pulls, and we can take that off, and then the cardboard hopefully will just slide out at the sides. Brilliant substantial packaging, fully recyclable pretty much. A bit of the foam, yes, it's recyclable foam as well, so that's really good, and that leaves the screen front on. So I'm going to move this out, put everything in the box that I don't want and get cleared a little bit, and then we'll come back and see about actually setting the monitor into position. So I've lifted the monitor just up onto the desk, and the rip goes all the way down to the bottom, so we're able to lift the protective cover off. So I'll do that, and then on the back of the monitor we've got some power buttons to the side, and then underneath you can see there's all the connections. We've got 4 USB 3.2s. They can be used for going down to the PC for the upstream, downstream. There's also a number of USB-C connections. Now, looking at the instructions, the USB-C connections can be used as upstream, downstream and charging. So the middle one here, there's a little picture of a laptop stroke MacBook on there. That's the Thunderbolt input for the MacBook or a laptop. There's also a power USB-C there. It's a lower rated for charging, and that's for linking daisy chaining monitors or other equipment into the Dell hub monitor. The only thing I'm really interested in is these 2 USBs here, which are going to take my keyboard and mouse, because they actually run on 2 separate USBs. They're not unifiable. The Craft keyboard isn't fully unifiable with the rest of the Logitech range, and it doesn't fully work with the Logitech Flow fully either. You have to manually click it across rather than the mouse drag it with it, which is a bit of a hindrance. You get the, I think it's the Logitech keys or something like that, the MX keys, and they flow through on the Logitech Flow, but unfortunately the Craft just isn't supported, which is a shame. I followed a lot of online reviews about the Logitech Flow and the Craft keyboard, and there's a lot of animosity, shall we say, towards Dell for how they've utilised that, but never mind. There's a network point here, I think that runs at 2.5 gigabytes per second, so that will give you network connectivity wired to anything that you plug into it, with it being a hub. On this side you can see that we have a DisplayPort connection and an HDMI connection. At the moment I'm using HDMI. DisplayPort is considered to be slightly better than HDMI, so I may switch between the two, I'm not sure, but I will for the time being stay with the HDMI connection. So when we get this mounted up, we're going to put power into the power socket. We're going to connect the HDMI lead into the HDMI socket. We're going to put the Thunderbolt 4 into the laptop and MacBook connection into there, and we will have the up-down connectivity through this one, which will allow for the upstream downstream of the connected keyboard and mouse. So it's a KVM network. I think most of you will understand what that means. So yeah, let's get it in position and see what it looks like. So we're just about set up. The Thunderbolt connection is into the Mac. I've got another Thunderbolt connection there which goes into a USB-C in the back. We've got the screen fired up, connected into the PC. I can easily, after a bit of connectivity in the setup, go into the arrange, go into input source, select picture in picture, picture by picture, and we turn it on. And we do that by selecting one of these two options. So if you want picture in picture, it's one of these two, and if you want picture by picture, it's one of those two. We're going to select the first one, and you'll see that the Mac screen will come up on the right hand side and the Windows screen stays on the left. And the mouse, you can see the mouse floating around on the Windows screen. When we go from left to right, it appears in the Mac and continues to be usable. We can then go through the screen and the mouse appears on the Mac also. But we can also pull the screen down of the Mac, and then we've literally got both machines side by side with the mouse going in between the two. It does seem to be taking the keyboard through the KVM, but for me, my Windows is set in number 1 on the Logitech and my Mac is set in number 3 on the Logitech. So I'm able, if the keyboard doesn't go across, I'm able just to press one of those buttons to take it across. You can set up some hotkeys. That's in the same menu that we just looked at, but this seems to be an awesome setup. I'm really chuffed. Another really nifty thing that you can do if you happen to have an iPad Pro, that takes the Thunderbolt connection, and when you connect it you get mirror imaging up above, and with a bit of jiggery pokery you get the mouse across, so you get mouse control on your Mac, sorry, on your iPad. I've not got the fully function thing going just yet on how to get the mouse across onto the iPad, but I thought it was very exciting to be able to have dual screens on there also. Really cool. And then after all that messing around, we can go back to the PIB and turn that off, and the screen takes a few seconds and it comes back with what we've got up. You can pick up the software from the Dell website. You get the Dell Display Manager application, and that's the window we were looking at just here. The Dell Display Manager. It's very slow. It operates extremely slow, but there's lots of functions on there. That's where you pick your input sources to change your picture-in-picture on and off. You can do it with hotkeys, so you can toggle the sources with hotkeys. You can do lots of different things. That just changed. When you go in there and you do something, you lose sometimes these functions, and it says find out how to enable the inactive functions. That's really annoying. I'm not sure why going into the input source to the hotkeys section should basically stop this from working. It's a strange thing that I'm going to spend some time looking at. I know that Dave from Dave's Garage, he basically gave up almost on the hotkey situation. It doesn't take too much to do it through this user interface, so yeah, you may as well just click in and click out. But yeah, for me, when I'm going into the hotkeys, you just saw there it blinked and it turned off all the functions, so all I'm left with is the easy arrange where I can lay out, but there's no option to turn the picture in picture or anything on in here. The only fix I found for this is go into the icon, right clicking it, exiting it, and then basically restarting the function. And then this is how long it takes for it to do anything. It sits in the corner and then blinks and then comes back. That was actually quite a fast effort, and you'll see that we've got everything back bar brightness and contrast, but once you go in and out a couple of times, the brightness and contrast even come back. So going into input source, as soon as you enter that hotkey section, it randomly will drop the other functions, but I don't know what it is that that happens when you're in there. Very strange, but never mind. Other than that, this monitor is an absolute winner. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm going to give you some quick details on it, because the specs behind it are absolutely brilliant. But other than that, I'm over the moon with this. I've bought the monitor myself. It's not anything to do with Dell, so everything that I've said and done has all been my own input, nothing to do with Dell. They've not seen this video, they have nothing to do with this video. There's no no support from them at all. But obviously I've bought it because I did my research, and yeah, having got it and experienced it, I would buy it again. So here it is on the Dell's website, the Dell UltraSharp 40 curve Thunderbolt hub monitor, the U4025QW. As I said, it's in 40 inch, it's got a curved screen, its resolution is a WUHD screen 5120 by 2160. So it's got lots of landscape on there. The diagonal size is 39.7, which is where it comes up with its 40 inch screen. There's the resolution and refresh rate, 5120 by 2160 at 120 Hertz. Absolutely brilliant refresh rate. Lots of ports. We need to be able to bring this. There you go. There we go. So the adjustability is height, tilt and swivel. The colour gamuts sit at 99%, 99%, 100%, 100%. So they're almost perfect colour returns. The ports, it's got an HDMI supporting up to 5K. It's got 1 DP, supports up to 5K at 120 Hertz. The Thunderbolt 4 downstream port, 15 watts for the daisy chain. It's got another one for the super speed USB 3.2, another for Thunderbolt 4 at 140 watts, which is what the MacBook is plugged into. It does say alternate mode with DisplayPort there, so I don't know where. I will have to look into that. Obviously, we've had the HDMI signal and the Thunderbolt signal side by side working fine. I'm gonna have a little look and see what the alternate mode with DisplayPort means. I'm not sure whether you can't use them both together, maybe. USB Type-C upstream port, we've got that in use. We've got this one connected, which I'm hoping is going to give me the ability to plug this GoPro in afterwards to download instead of having to connect to the PC. 4 USB downstream ports at 10 gigabits per second. There's an audio line out, an RJ45 at 2.5 gigabytes, as I said earlier. There's a USB-A downstream port which is connected to the PC. That gives us 10 gigabits per second, so the data transfer rate should be fantastic. 2 USB-C downstream ports at 10 gigabytes a second. Just everything you could ever want. It's a fantastic hub monitor. I would recommend one. I've got one and I'm not disappointed so far. I'll do, if people want, I'll do another review at a later time, but it's brilliant so far. Oh, a little feature that I didn't show you that you can just see there. Underneath there's a little drop down box, 2 USB-Cs and 1 USB-A 3.2. Just handy for plugging in and out, so you're not reaching around in the back of the monitor or having to go down to your PC or even to your Mac. You can get a USB memory stick plugged in there and talk to your Mac with it straight away. So that's it. Not the usual kind of video that we would do, but a couple of the guys that I mentioned we'd got this monitor said please let me know what you do and what you think, and yeah, just a little review. So that's going to do it for today. So get out there and make the best of your day, be kind to each other, animals and the planet, and as always I will see you again in the next one.